It's 2024, and there are loads of board games I'd love to own. I can't own them all. So what I've done is I've whittled that list down to a list of 10, and I've popped those on my wish list for the year. I can't guarantee I'll even be able to afford all of these, except the board game at the top position, but that's a special case. Stay tuned to find out why. Hi all, welcome back to Birds on Board. My name is Pigeon, and today what I've done is I've listed out the top 10 games that I wish I could own by the end of the year. It's 2024, and who doesn't love another top 10 list? I've recently gotten myself a Kallax, and I was surprised to find that it was a lot larger than I thought it would be, meaning there's a lot of gaps I need to fill. I'm also trying out a new recording setup, and I'm hoping this closer, more intimate
I love you
recording session is something that you guys find agreeable. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, because there are so many games I wish I could own, and this list could easily go into the hundreds, I've set myself some rules to make sure I keep it laser focused. First, only one game allowed per franchise. I'm not allowed to list the entire Tiny Epic series, even though that would be awesome. Secondly, only one game per publisher. At this point, I don't want to show any favoritism until they start sending me review copies, that is. And finally, only one game per category. Now, I've chosen some categories based mostly on the main game mechanics, but there are some surprises in there. See if you can guess which game I'm going to announce just from the category alone before I shout it at your face. But without further waffling, let's jump into the list. And kicking off the list at number 10 is the new game category. This category is for a game that's new to the world, very recently released. I don't even think you can buy it in most stores yet. Published by Stonemaier Games and designed by Connie Vogelman, it's Wormspan. Now, I will admit, the first time I saw Wormspan, I assumed it was an April Fool's. It looks like a joke, to be honest, right? Who would expect the successor to Wingspan, or the spin-off, to be a dragon-based game? I would have thought something about dogs or cats, something more common, realistic. But instead, they've gone a full 180 and gone into the fantasy realm. And we've got Wormspan. The successor to one of Stonemeier's biggest games, Wingspan, being about dragons, it seems a bit far-fetched. But it's true. They've made Wingspan, but with dragons. They could have still called it Wingspan. Dragons have wings, surely. I like Wingspan. It's got birds. I like birds. I'm Pigeon. This is Birds on Board. It's a whole thing. I like that you get your own player board. You can play on the competitive side of the scoring sheet, which makes it a bit more competitive. But most of the time, you get to play on your own little board and build the best aviary you can. That being said, dragons. Who doesn't love dragons? So I'm very much looking forward to Wormspan to see what it brings, and I'd love to add it to the shelf behind me. That's Wormspan. Now, my number 9 pick is a modern classic. It's my classic pick. It's the game that's in a lot of folks' shelves, and I'd love to add it to mine as well. It's published by Z-Man Games and designed by Klaus-Jürgen Frede. It's Carcassonne. Now, I've always seen Carcassonne around the table, and it's always been one I've been quite nervous about to pick up. Not so much the gameplay. The gameplay looks simple. It's a tile. There's tiles for everyone, and you flip them and you place them on the map, and you can put a meeple down if you want some points. Very simple. Anyone understands. Flip a tile, put it down, and you keep on doing that until there are no more tiles left. The problem is, because it's quite an old game at this point, I think it was published in 2000, there are so many expansions that it's quite daunting to get into. Now, Carcassonne is a very well-known game and very well-loved, and the gameplay is quite simple. You pick up a tile, you place it in a valid spot, and then you decide if you want to put a meeple there or not. Next player's turn. That's it. It's fun to play, very simple to teach. There are loads of expansions to help enhance your experience if you choose to. It's Carcassonne. My number 8 choice is my party game pick. Now, a party game is a type of game that does well with a larger crowd, And it's also very simple to teach. Lastly, party games, although might have a scoring element or win or lose, or some of them are cooperative, the main point of a party game is to create lots of laughs and memories and just have a good time with friends. Published by Greater Than Games and designed by Danielle Dealey, Lindsay Sherwood, and Nathan Thornton, my number 8 pick for a party game is Medium. Now, Medium is such a fun party game, and it seems like one that will gain equal parts laughter and equal parts arguments, but that's the fun of a party game. So, in Medium, what you are trying to do is get in each other's heads and find a word that will link two other words. So, if you drew the word dog and cat, we were trying to find one word that describes both of these together without speaking to each other. We're using our mental capacity here. So we shout 1, 2, 3, and you shout a word. Now, I would shout pet. That seems like a good one. But my partner might not think so. My partner might say furry or tail, right? And we have 3 chances to go 1, 2, 3, shout our word, and hopefully we shout the same word. And that's Medium. It is so much fun because depending on how your brain works, you might be thinking a completely different tangent. But because you get to try over and over again, you slowly start to see what the other person is thinking and you get more in sync with each other. You start reading each other's minds, and eventually 1, 2, 3, and we're both shouting pet and we both win. That's Medium, my number 8 pick. Now, for my number 7 pick, I've decided on the category expansion. So this is an expansion for a game I already own. You might see it behind me. And getting the expansion might just improve its playability. Published by CGE and designed by Min and Elwin. It's the Lost Ruins of Arnak, and it's the Expedition Leaders expansion. Now, Expedition Leaders has more of what you love already with Lost Ruins of Arnak. We get more artifacts, we get more items, we get more guardians to overcome. But the best part about Expedition Leaders is you now get asymmetrical player powers. Now, depending on which expedition leader you choose, you might have an easier time traveling or an easier way to gain gold. Or you can throw all that out the window and have an acute sense of how to use the mystical artifacts. Nowadays, some people think that Lost Ruins of Arnak is actually incomplete without the Expedition Leaders expansion. I don't feel that way. I feel Lost Ruins of Arnak does what it does great, but Expedition Leaders just raises it up to another level. If you're looking for more replayability, this is the expansion for you. That's my number 7, Lost Ruins of Arnak, Expedition Leaders. At number 6 on the list, we have my 2-player game. And this is a game that is made specifically for 2 players. Published by GameWorks and designed by Sebastian Pauchen, it's the 2-player masterpiece, Jaipur. So Jaipur is a perfect example of what makes a 2-player game great. It's a set of cards that you shuffle and a few tokens. And all you're trying to do is go into this market and sell goods and get goods. And selling some goods from the market will get you some victory points. However, whoever sells those goods first gets more points. So now there's this element of rush. I need to sell my goods first before my opponent does. Also, any goods you leave behind, your opponent could get. So you have to decide, is it better for me to get these goods, or is it better for me to deny my opponent getting the same goods? Jaipur is a very quick card game that is easy to play and easy to teach. It also does some things well that work out great when there are only 2 players. Jaipur is a fantastic 2-player game, and one that I really hope I can add to my shelf one day. My number 5 choice is a double category. It's a push your luck game as well as a bag builder. Published by Schmidt-Spieler and designed by Wolfgang Warschk. Number 5 is the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Now, Quacks has been on my radar for quite a while. It has a push your luck element with that bag building, and it looks absolutely manic. And I was lucky enough to play it at my latest games meetup a few weeks back. After finally getting to play the game, it solidified its place on my list. Quacks is absolutely crazy. You play as an alchemist who's trying to make the best magical potion, and your ingredients are pulled from a bag blindly. Here's the thing. You can pull ingredients out your bag until you decide that's enough. The more ingredients you pull out the bag, the better score you're going to get. But there's a catch. If you pick one too many white tokens out of your bag, your concoction explodes. And now you have to choose either between gaining points or buying more ingredients. There's a massive luck element to quacks, but it's one that makes the game all the more fun. Each ingredient has its own special effect, and you can turn around the ingredient books to get different effects to add replayability. Quacks is very fun. I hope I play it again at the next game meetup, but I would like to add it to my shelf. That's my number 5, The Quacks of Quedlinburg. My number 4 category is my pocket game category. It's a game that you can slip in your pocket or put it in your satchel, your backpack, and take it with you on the go. You can whip it out whenever you have a chance and have a quick game. Now, many of you have already guessed the publisher is going to be Button Shy, who are known for these sort of games. In particular, my choice has been designed by Dustin Dobson and Milan Zivkovic. On my wish list for the pocket game category is Results-Orientated Versatile Explorer, or Rove. Now, being a Button Shy game, Rove comes in a tiny wallet and has a few cards, and these cards work together to make a beautiful single-player puzzle. Some of the cards are objectives and tell you what you're aiming to get done in the play area, where others are in the play area and tell you how the cards can move. Some of them can move straight and left, and some of them hop, but you're trying to fulfill an objective, which you flip over and add to your little robot's journey as he goes along. Rove is one of those games that is very quick and easy to pull out, set up, have a game or two, and then relax. And I'd love to add it to my shelf as my pocket game of choice. That's my number 4. And at number 3 on my wish list, we have my racing game of choice. Published by Days of Wonder and designed by Asgar Harding Granerud and Daniel Skold Peterson, my racing game of choice is Heat Pedal to the Metal. In Heat Pedal to the Metal, you are trying to race your opponents to be first around the track. There are multiple tracks and multiple boards. Some future expansions are bringing more tracks. There are custom tracks or promo tracks, which always excites me. You also have to contend with the weather, which changes the way the track handles. Now, what makes Heat so appealing is depending on what you draw, your choice can either be to push harder or slow down for the turns. You can't just go full speed all the way or you'll slide out during the turns. Also, the fact that Heat is getting a big expansion soon also speaks loads about how much this game is loved. One of the things that gets me most excited about Heat is I've read so many people say the solo mode is so much fun and well designed. I'm really excited to try it out. So that's number 3, Heat, Pedal to the Metal. On my wish list, the number 2 spot goes to a legacy game. One that I've really wanted to play quite badly. Published by Z-Man Games and designed by Rob Davio and Matt Leacock as Pandemic Legacy Season 1. Now, I know I broke my rule and Z-Man Games came up earlier with Carcassonne, but honestly, I wasn't aware that they have bought the rights to the game in 2012, I think it was. Now, I really enjoy Pandemic, and Pandemic Legacy looks like taking all the best bits of the game I love and just making it better and better in a legacy format. The fact that the game evolves and morphs every game is so exciting to me. To this day, I still stay away from any sites talking about it in too much depth because I don't want to be spoiled. The story seems engrossing, and the fact that there's a season 2 and even a season 0 that is a prequel speaks loads. It's one that is very much loved and one that I really want on my shelf. I think the big hang up is trying to find a bunch of friends that are going to stick with me for a minimum of 12 games. But that's number 2 on my wish list, the game that fits the legacy game category, Pandemic Legacy Season 1. And at our number 1 spot is my game made specifically for solo play. It is the game I'm most excited about. Published by Van Ryder Games and designed by Eric Derrick and AJ Porfirio, it's Final Girl. Now, I did mention earlier that this game is a bit different from the rest, and that I'm sure I can afford this game, and there's a big reason for that. Technically, I've already bought this game.
Woohoo!
Van Ryder Games ran a great Kickstarter, and one that I backed. Their 3rd iteration of their solo game series. My copy should be arriving here in Q4 of 2024, and I really hope it lives up to the quality that they've set on their Kickstarter page. Van Ryder Games has a great community that they chat to on the Discord, and everyone is very excited for this next iteration. Final Girl sees you as the final girl within a slasher fic, trying to run away from a murderer, a killer, a monster, trying to get you and other victims in the location. The final girl, the killer, and the location are all modular, and you can mix and match to make the best slasher film you can think of. Each location gives different routes to run to, as well as different items to acquire. Each killer has different tactics to try and trap you and the victims to win in the end. Although the game does use dice as a mechanic, you can mitigate some of that luck by using your wits and getting the items that you need most right now. But that tension that dice roll brings you so close to the feature film horror movie aesthetic and theme they're trying to build. It's just great. One of the best things about Final Goal that I'm really excited about is the theming. They really go all in with their theme. Their killers, the locations, the cards, the items, the vehicles. The final girls themselves, they're all based on classic horror movie tropes. I'm really excited and I hope I hope it gets here soon. That's my number one pick, Final Girl. Well, there you have it, folks. Those are my top 10 games on my wish list for 2024. What games are on your wish list? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks again for joining us at Birds on Board. I've been Pigeon. May your dice rolls forever be in your favor. Happy gaming and take care. Cheers.